Hey YouTube, so today I wanted to show off a few of my discs that I have. These are discs that I actually dyed myself, and so I'm going to dye another one today, and I'm going to show you the process that I go through to get it done. But these are the ones that I've done already. This is the first one I did. It's a lime green Star Destroyer. I dyed it with the Achievement Hunter logo. I'm a huge fan of Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth. I figured this disc would look really good with that logo on it, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The second one I did is my Champion Rock 3. This is with the, it's a Night Fury logo from How to Train Your Dragon. It turned out really good. I like how it came out, and still that it's completely see-through still, even though that it's dyed. Then finally I did two putters. Both of them are Star Rhinos. This is the first one I did. This one was for my dad. We're both big Detroit Lions fans, so I wanted to get the Detroit Lions logo on it with a special background. On the back I did a swirled design here. And then this one's mine again with the Detroit Lions logo. And it's a little bit hard to see, but it looks really good in person. It's kind of a marbling type design. It has like blue and gray mixed around in the background. It looks really spacey. But I got another disc today. I'm gonna go through the process of how I dyed it, how I'm going to dye it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so this is everything you're gonna need. Obviously you're gonna need your disc. Today I'm gonna be dyeing a Star Mako 3. Brand new, I just got this the other day. You're gonna need the stencil that you want to do. I said before I was a huge fan of Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth, and this is actually a symbol from one of their shows called Ruby. So that's going to be the design I put on it today. You're going to need your dye. After research, I found online that this is the best dye to use. It's Idye Poly by Jaquard. That's the brand there. You can get this at Joann Fabrics, or you can order it online. I'll put a link down in the description below. You're going to need a jar to put your dye in. This is just an old pickle jar, or if you get a mason jar, that'll work too. You'll need scissors. You will need contact paper. This is just some clear contact paper. I got it from Walmart in the kitchen cabinetry section, only like $5. Then this is optional. The dye I'm doing today, I'm going to need to remove the stamp off of the disc, and to do that I'll need acetone. This will take the stamps off and leave very little to no residue behind. And then you'll need paper towels. Then finally you'll need something to put the disc in to soak into the dye. This is just a oil pan from the Dollar Tree. Just costs $1, very cheap and inexpensive. And then an X-Acto blade to cut the design out on the disc. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the dye. Inside this dye package is going to be a color intensifier. You can just throw that away. You don't use that at all. And then you got your dye pack. Now this is a pack that it dissolves completely in water. You're supposed to just throw it in and the pack will dissolve. But what I'm going to do is just cut it open, put it in here. But first I'm going to go just fill this up with hot tap water. I'll be right back. Alright, I got my hot tap water now. So I'm going to take this dye pack, do it over the jar. I'm just going to cut this open. And then pour all of the dye powder in, just like that. I'm going to close this up nice and tight, and just start shaking it up a little bit just to get it to mix. I'm going to put a paper towel over it, that way if any of it leaks out, it don't splatter everywhere. There. Now that's ready to use. Okay, for the next step, I'm going to use the acetone to take the stamps off of the disc. Just using paper towels to scrub it off. But this stuff is really strong smelling, so you want to do this in a well-ventilated area. Alright guys, I'm out in the garage now, so I'm going to again start taking the stamp off. Alright, there we go. See, it's completely gone. Now I'm going to go rinse the disc off just to get any acetone that's still on it off of the disc. Okay, now that the stamp has been removed, I need to prepare it to cut out the stencil. So I'm going to use the contact paper. I'm going to need a piece of it large enough that will overlap all sides of the disc. Alright, just like that. Now, having a little trouble here. I'm going to remove the backing and lay this down sticky side up. Now, got the sticky side up. I'm going to try and center the disc as best I can. Like that. And I'm just going to push down on the center. Flip that over. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from the center this and slowly push it down from the center out. That way I push all the air bubbles out of the disc, because we don't want any air bubbles, because if once I start making cuts, if there's air bubbles, when I put it in the die is going to bleed and go where I don't want it to go. By doing this, it limits that from happening. You can use a credit card or another small straight piece to do this, but I like using my finger. That way I can just go nice and slow, make sure I get all the bubbles out. Pull this up. Oops. just like that. Now there's a few air bubbles in there, but if they're anywhere I cut, I'll just push them down and get those bubbles out. That. And I'm just going to fold these over the edge. Alright, so now I have the stencil. The disc is ready for us to put it on. Now the paper is a little too big on the edges, so I'm just going to cut it down just under the size of the disc. That way I can tape it down to the disc really easily. Alright, I got the page lined up where I wanted it, so I'm just going to use some clear tape here and get it taped down. I'm also just going to hold it up to the light, making sure I want to get it as centered as possible. That way it looks good when you throw the disc. Pattern spin, so just holding it up to the light to see where the center mark is and where I have the stencil set, and everything looks good, so I'm going to finish taping it down. Alright, there we are. So that's going to be the pattern. Now I'm going to use the X-Acto blade and just cut directly through the paper into the contact paper. And I'm cutting out all these the white parts, and that's going to be the parts that are dyed black. Alright guys, as you can see I got the stencil completely cut. Might be a little hard to see, but you can see all the etching lines in the contact paper. Now I'm going to start peeling all the parts up that are going to be dyed black. Now the important thing is to do this slowly, that way you don't pull up anything that you don't want. And as you pull up slowly, you're able to see if anything's still connected. Just take your X-Acto blade and cut it and push down what needs to stay down. Alright guys, I got all the stencil up where it needs to be. You can kind of see where what the emblem's going to look like now. But since I was cutting and peeling, there's a lot of air bubbles formed near the edges, like where the contact paper ends. So I'm going to go around and I'm just going to push down all the edges, make sure there's no air bubbles near the edges. If there's air bubbles like up here in this area, it's not going to be a problem as long as there's no air bubbles immediately next to where the dye is going to be. Then I shouldn't have any bleeding problems. Alright guys, the disc is all ready. I'm pretty confident that everything's pushed down the way it needs to be. No air bubbles, no bleeding is going to happen. But at this point, if any bleeding does happen, there's really nothing I can do about it, but we'll see how it turns out. So, there's that. What I'm going to do is cut a little bit of the contact paper into a strip. This is to make a little handle so I can dip it into the dye. Come on. There we go. Whoops. There we go. So, if you can see this, I'm just going to stick one side down on the back of the disc like this. I'll stick the other side down on the back like this. And try to center it as much as possible, but it's all stuck together. There, so now I'm able to dip it in and out of the dye, pick it up easy without getting dye all over my hands. So now, take the dye, again shake it up, make sure it's all mixed up real good. Take it, I'm just going to pour it into here. Nice. Kind of stir it just a little bit, kind of wait for all the bubbles to go away. And then I'm just going to take the disc. I'm going to set it in real gently. We don't want to splash it and get it onto the back of the disc. I'll spin it around a little bit just to make sure the air bubbles get out from underneath it. I'll pick it up, and just really quick you can see already how it's going to look. But I'll set it back down and I'll check on it every 15-20 minutes or so just to see how it's going, see how dark it's getting. Then once it gets to the darkness that I like, I'll pull it out. But we'll just leave it here for now. Alright guys, so it's been probably an hour now. I've been checking on this, waiting to see how the dye has been setting. Every time I pull it up out of the water and I let the dye drain off of it to see how much has taken to the disc, and actually it looks like it's got a nice good color now. I like how it is, so I'm going to go ahead and set the dye by running it under some cold water. Yeah, it's turned out really good. I'm going to like it. That looks good. It looks like there was some bleeding, but not much. It still looks like it turned out really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull off all the contact paper now. I usually do it while running it under the cold water just to help it come off easier. There we go. Alright, so yeah, there we have it, guys. That's how it turned out. I think it turned out really good. It's slightly off center. I'm a little disappointed about that, but it still looks really good when it's spinning, so I'm excited to get outside and get throwing this disc. If you guys like this, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I plan on doing some more videos similar to this in the future. But thanks for watching, and I hope it helped you guys. If you guys are looking into doing something like this, I hope this video helped out. Thanks for watching.